This one's interesting because I think this one very much it constitutes the very definition of a pussy pass. I really do think that it does. Because what we got here is a British woman is to be deported from America, from America, after having sex with a 14-year-old boy for cash. Yeah. Oh, wow. Sarah McGill, 28 years old, heading back to the UK after she cut a deal with prosecutors after saying she was scared of a lengthy prison term. I think everyone is scared of a lengthy prison term. Nobody wants to go to jail. There's not a day I wake up going, you know, it'd be good today. I'm going to go like knock over a convenience store because I just feel like going to prison. That will make me happy. No, not at all. Now, story goes like this. A British woman is being booted out of the U.S. after having sex with a 14-year-old boy who paid her to help him lose his virginity. Sarah McGill is facing up to 15 years behind bars, but instead was given 5 years probation in order to leave America immediately. The ruling came after she was found guilty of lewd and lascivious battery, otherwise known as statutory rape in the UK. As the probation was terminated upon her leaving the U.S., her sentence was effectively deportation. So you might be asking yourself, how did she get in this situation? Like, if there ever was one of those moments where it kind of feels like there would be like that record scratch and freeze frame, it would be one of this like, hi, I'm 28-year-old Sarah McGill. And you may be asking yourself, how did I get in this situation? Like, allow me to tell you, it's not a fun story, by the way. She was doing some stuff. She was being naughty, being very, very naughty, and it caught up with her. Now, the sweetheart deal with prosecutors means that the 28-year-old hypnotherapist from Galashiels, Selkirkshire, could be back in Scotland as soon as today. And this is what she looks like right here. Not a bad-looking woman by any stretch of the imagination. And it says here that McGill's case was unexpectedly resolved on Wednesday, 3 days after her details of police interviews were published, in which she said she felt terrible that the boy was underage. She denied lewd or lascivious battery, which is similar to statutory rape in the UK, and was due to stand trial. But the prospect of a long jail term left her scared, she said in police interview, and prosecutors were apparently willing to cut her a deal. Yeah, so blonde woman, attractive blonde woman says like, you know what, hey guys, I really don't want to go to jail. Like, it's scary. And they're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, no, I get you, right? They're totally okay with that. Because she says, I don't want to go to jail. And I mean, you know, there wasn't just like the one crime of lewd and lascivious battery. There's other things she was kind of doing too. I mean, that we can only assume right now because the article doesn't have all the details, but we get a general idea. So, I mean, this is to give you an idea. This is what she posts on Quora. She advertised her services under the name Sophia Bell, just to give you an idea of kind of where this story is headed. Now, again, this is her. This is an image of her off the internet somewhere. Now, she was arrested on April 6th after having sex with a 14-year-old boy in the Courtyard Marriott in Orlando. The victim had found her profile on Quora.com, which listed her under the name Sophia Bell, and texted her to set up the liaison, for which he paid her $480. The incident then came to light when the boy's father found out what he had done and went back to the hotel, where he called the cops. It later emerged that the boy had lost his virginity to McGill when they slept together. The arrest shone a light on McGill's bizarre double life, as she claimed to be a hypnotherapist with an office in Edinburgh. So this woman had been, okay, well, the next section here says, in a police interview, she admitted she'd been traveling alone across the U.S., visiting San Francisco, New Jersey, San Diego, and Tampa before Orlando, but claimed she was sightseeing. Right? Claimed she was sightseeing. I'm sure she was sightseeing. She was seeing all the Johns she could get her sights on. That's a kind of a horrible joke, but what I'm in a roll with here. Now, it says in her interview that that when she had been told she was a prostitute, when they put it to her like that, you know, when they went up there and they're like, excuse me, ma'am, you a hoe. You a hoe. She's like, well, yeah, there's truth to that. And I've heard of these kind of stories happening before. I mean, even just recently, a Trump Tower in like Orlando or Miami or something, there was a prostitution ring that was busted up. Prostitution, sex, you know, sex trade, sex trafficking, all this stuff really happens. And Florida is horrible for this, by the way. Florida is absolutely horrible for sex trafficking. One of the reasons why I think we do need to legalize it and tax it and regulate it here in the United States as a way to help cut down on that, make it safer for sex workers. But I mean, well, let's be fair here. We need to do that for our sex workers. She was an immigrant that came over here and played the system and then got a sweet deal to basically get the hell out. Right. That's basically what happened. She basically got happened. Right. She's like, I'm so scared of a long jail term. I don't know what's going to happen. And they're like, oh, you want to just be deported? Yeah, we'll just deport you. That's what they did. And then here's her in jail. She says here that we didn't just talk. He wanted to touch me. We were talking. One thing led to another. I feel like such an idiot. She says, I didn't come here to do anything wrong. Prostitution is illegal in the United States outside of Las Vegas and Nevada. And even then, it's very, very, very limited in where you can do it. So coming here not to do anything wrong is technically you came here without a work visa. You were working. You were collecting money. Performing duties here in the United States, at least at the tune of $480 a pop. You didn't pay taxes on it. You're an illegal immigrant. You got to go. You got to go. This is one of the ones that you can't really put a wall up between Scotland and the United States to stop prostitutes. I'm just saying. She says here that whatever happened, I never had any ill intention. I'm just a very down-to-earth, normal person, says the prostitute. I've never been in handcuffs or anything like that, so this is scary for me. I think I should leave the country. I think I should be told off. I don't want to go to jail. I'm really scared. And again, I don't fault her for being really scared. I do fault her for the acts that she took. Prostitution, not carding the kid. I mean, the fact that a 14-year-old was able to get a prostitute on Quora.com of all places. We know Backpage is gone. We know Craigslist doesn't do that anymore, but Quora apparently is where it's at. So any of you who are of the age of 18 and I guess looking, there you go. There's where you're going to have yourself a grand old time, so to speak. And they, again, this is her. They just, I don't know why they're blurring her face. The rest of her is already out there. But yeah, one of the reasons why that they booted her out essentially was because the Florida prison system, according to the article here, the article goes on to talk about that, to talk about the Florida prison system is just terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. It's just god awful. Right. And that she's afraid for herself. And they're like, well, there's a lot of inmate on inmate violence in these prisons. And then they just sent her off. Now she was facing a long time in prison for doing this, right? She was facing a long time in prison. And that would have been, I mean, look, I'm gonna take the what I believe is like maybe the prosecutor's side of this. Like, I'm just gonna try to put myself in their shoes for a hot minute and try to go, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's a reason why is because they go, well, she's willing to be deported, and I'm pretty sure never allowed back in the United States. I'm just gonna say that, never allowed back in the United States. And we don't have to put her up in a prison for 15 years or however long, and then have that come out of the taxpayer money. I think that's probably what they were doing. Now, I don't agree with that, though. I don't agree with that. I actually don't agree with that at all. I think she should have gone to jail for prostitution, for lewd and lascivious battery, because what she did was irresponsible. It was wrong. She understands that, obviously, but there's still crimes that were committed. And there's that, I mean, the boy here is a victim. He felt pressured to lose his virginity. So he went on Quora. Again, I don't know how he figured out Quora is the place to be. And paid the money for a hooker, got caught by his dad. And then here's where we are. I don't really have like a final thought or conclusion to this particular tale of debauchery, deceit, and tax evasion. But I do think that this woman should probably have gone to actual jail. Crimes were committed. And getting a pussy pass and sent back to Scotland doesn't really set the right kind of message for anyone else who may be here doing what she's doing. And trust me when I say, there's probably a fair amount